Welcome to a closer look at the NGSS architecture and disciplinary core ideas for intermediate teachers. Our session goals are to take a closer look at the architecture of the NGSS, understand the disciplinary core ideas, learn about the integrated model, and recognize how evidence statements can be a helpful resource. The NGSS Mobius strip reminds us that science learning is three-dimensional, where the science and engineering practices, cross-cutting concepts, and the disciplinary core ideas are integral to student understanding of science and engineering. The ideas are interrelated, none is more important than the other. In this session, we will be focusing on the disciplinary core ideas. Let's first look at the NGSS structure. The NGSS is available in two formats, sorted by topic or DCI. When you visit the Next Generation website, you can select either option. What is shown is the topic view. Below the topic are all the performance expectations that students need to demonstrate by the end of the school year, or if it's engineering, by the end of the grade band. In this case, there's only one performance expectation that needs to be addressed for this topic. The number of PEs vary by topic and DCI for every grade level. A performance expectation is also referred to as a PE. It includes a practice, a core idea, and a cross-cutting concept. This is what will be assessed. It also includes a clarification statement that gives assessment boundaries. It's important to understand that the PEs are non-instructional strategies or lesson objectives. They state what students should know and be able to do after instruction. Below the PEs are the foundation boxes. These contain the science and engineering practices, also called SEPs, the disciplinary core ideas referred to as DCIs, and the cross-cutting concepts, or the CCCs. All three are intertwined in the performance expectations. The orange box in the center is the disciplinary core idea. These focus on the content of science. This is the actual knowing of science that you expect from your students. The blue box are the science and engineering practices. These are integrated in every performance expectation. These are the practices that scientists and engineers use in their work. Students need to practice these to become prepared for their future careers. On the right, in the green box, are the cross-cutting concepts. These are overarching themes that prevail throughout science. In this example, you can see energy and matter, which is a concept that runs through all areas and branches of science. Connection boxes are found under the foundation boxes. These show the connections to other NGSS standards and to the Common Core standards. The DCIs are actual K-12 science curriculum content areas that are used to form evidence and construct explanations. The NGSS approach is that learning science is a continuous progression from kindergarten through high school that slowly and surely builds on a limited number of core ideas which are described in greater and greater detail as students age and their level of sophistication increases. To be considered core, the ideas should meet at least two of the following criteria. They need to have broad importance across multiple sciences or engineering disciplines, or be a key organizing concept of a single discipline, provide a key tool for understanding or investigating more complex ideas and solving problems. They must relate to the interests and life experience of students or be connected to a societal or personal concern that requires scientific or technological knowledge, or they must be teachable over multiple grades in increasing levels of depth and sophistication. The NGSS is structured around 4 domains: life science, earth and space science, physical science, and engineering, technology, and the application of science. Each domain has topics, and within each of those are the performance expectations. Following the vision of a framework for K-12 science education, the NGSS are intended to increase coherence in K-12 education. First, the framework is built on the notion of learning as a developmental progression. It's designed to help children continually build on and revise their knowledge and abilities, starting from their curiosity about what they see around them and their initial conceptions about how the world works. The goal is to guide their knowledge toward a more scientifically based and coherent view of the natural sciences and engineering, as well as of the ways in which they're pursued and their results can be used. Second, the framework focuses on a limited number of core ideas in science and engineering, both within and across the disciplines. The committee made this choice in order to avoid the shallow coverage of a large number of topics and to allow more time for teachers and students to explore each idea in greater depth. Reduction of the number of details to be mastered is intended to give time for students to engage in scientific investigations and argumentation and to achieve depth of understanding of the core ideas presented. Delineating what is to be learned about each core idea within each grade band also helps clarify what is most important to spend time on, and avoid the abundance of detail to be learned with no conceptual grounding. Third, the framework emphasizes that learning about science and engineering involves integration of the knowledge of scientific inquiry and engineering design. Thus, the framework illustrates how knowledge and practice must be intertwined in designing learning experiences. The framework describes the progression of disciplinary core ideas in the grade band endpoints. The progressions are summarized in the NGSS appendices. These describe the content that occurs at each grade band. Some of the sub-ideas within the disciplinary core ideas overlap significantly. Readers will notice there is not always a clear division between those ideas, so several progressions are divided among more than one sub-idea. The purpose of these diagrams is to briefly describe the content at each grade band for each disciplinary core idea across K-12. This progression is for reference only. The full progressions can be seen in the framework. In addition, the NGSS show the integration of the 3 dimensions of learning. This document does not support separating the disciplinary core ideas from the other 2 dimensions. It's important to note that in the beginning stages of implementation, students will have learning deficits. The years before NGSS and transitional years will create gaps in student learning. The progressions will come in handy when trying to fill the gaps. The middle school integrated model is the preferred model and has been adopted in California. The integrated progression was developed by the Science Expert Panel, a group made up of kindergarten through grade 12 teachers, scientists, educators, business and industry representatives, and informal science educators. The Science Expert Panel used the following criteria to arrange the performance expectations for grades 6, 7, and 8. PEs are placed at each grade level to support content articulation across grades 5 through 8 and provide the opportunity for content integration within each grade level. PEs were aligned with the Common Core state standards in ELA and math so that science learning could integrate with the Common Core and would not be dependent upon ELA and math skills not yet acquired. The final arrangement of PEs reflected a balance both in content complexity and number at each grade level, with engineering performance expectations appropriately integrated. And as a possible unifying theme, human impact can be addressed across disciplines and across grade levels. Embedded in the Earth and Space Science PEs is a relation to human impact. In 6th grade, a PE asked students to apply scientific principles to design a method for monitoring and minimizing a human impact on the environment. This links nicely with the concepts of weather and climate. In 7th grade, a PE highlights natural hazards. This provides the opportunity to investigate earthquakes in connection with plate tectonics. In 8th grade, a PE challenges students to think deeply about the consequences of human population growth and resource consumption. The PEs related to human impact allow students to understand how humans can impact natural systems and change patterns. The chart above summarizes the progression of learning from 5th grade through 8th grade in the NGSS cross-cutting concepts and the following disciplinary core ideas: life science, earth and space sciences, physical science, engineering technology, and application of science. To sum it up, the Science Expert Panel placed the PEs in this integrated progression at each grade level to support a logical flow of content and increasing complexity of concepts across the grade levels. This arrangement of the California NGSS provides the opportunity for cohesive content integration within and across grade levels. Also available as an NGSS support tool are evidence statements. These specify the observable features that students have mastered for a particular PE. They are a great resource for teachers to use, and you can find them directly on the Next Generation website. Each PE will have a set of evidence statements. Here's an example of a PE with the evidence statements below it. As you can see, the evidence statements break down the PE in more manageable chunks, making it a little easier for teachers to understand exactly what is part of that PE and what kind of learning needs to take place. There are some disclaimers, however, with the evidence statements. They are not meant to replace lesson plans, and they should not be used as scoring rubrics. They are meant to show what it looks like for students to fully satisfy the PE, and they can be used to inform the development of summative assessments and in support of instructional design. Hopefully, from seeing the sample evidence statement from the previous slide, you can see that they are extremely useful. Here is a list of helpful and informative links to support your education of the NGSS. Thank you for your participation. Proceed to Part 3 to learn more about the science and engineering practices.